How's it going, everyone? This is Decoy here with another Warframe guide on, I'll call it open worlds, but this one's going to be a little different. I do have a few videos on Cetus and then Fortuna and Deimos, or Fortuna and the Necrolisk, I should say. They're covered. The Cetus video kind of sets you up for success on the real free roam open world systems. This video is going to be on the first kind of new system that applies some things from Cetus and the open world genre, but it's kind of a different system. So at this point, you've probably made it through most of the star chart, if not all of it. And you've just finished the New War and the Angels of Zariman quest, which means this is kind of where you're at. Now, I can't remember if the quest makes you do all these nodes, but I did want to go over, you know, there's an exterminate, and then there's a mobile defense, but there's also Void Flood, Void Cascade, and Void Armageddon. Now, Void Flood is a game mode where you are grabbing blue orbs, and it fills a container that kind of hovers to the left of your frame, or there's a bar that you're trying to not let get increased, and then you go and you fill up the objective point. Yeah, you can shoot enemies and it spawns them, but your main goal is to fill up that container. Then there is Void Armageddon, which is down here. Now, Void Armageddon, there's kind of a major defense objective, and then there's minor ones. So enemies might not deliberately go after that white objective, but then there are nodes that you can build things at. They have a time limit, but it's kind of like tower defense. There's also, not every round, but there are giant containers that you can go stand in the circle, and as you can see, it fills up, and this is how you get the currency. The currency also drops from enemies, and then that currency lets you build weapons. I did not build it by the objective. I should have, but I did not. So that's Void Armageddon. Now, the one thing about the Zariman is, especially in Void Cascade, but just as a general thing, the Zariman introduces going in between your Warframe and your operator a lot more. If it hasn't been something you've done at all up till now, just know that it is going to be part of it. Now, Void Cascade, as you can see, there's a green kind of bubble. As soon as you go in it, it kicks you out in your operator, and you have to shoot the tears, the rifts, and then a enemy spawns. I did not equip what I wanted to in terms of dealing with him. They are a little tougher, so they're like Eximus units. And then they go into an ethereal form. You go back in your operator, you shoot them. They do give you some standing for your focus tree with your operator, and then you're going to just kill enemies in that yellow bubble and to fill up. And you want to keep that big giant bar under the mini map in the yellow range. It's a lot more difficult to solo. I wouldn't recommend soloing it. And as you can see, another green orb spawns, and you have to keep going. It's more like an endless run, I would say. That's kind of at least my opinion on that. Now, let's go to the Chrysalith, which is where these particular nodes that you saw me going over, the Exterminate, the Void Flood, the Void Armageddon, it takes those and it puts them into like an open world system where there's bounties to complete, but there's no fishing or mining. So you have Quinn, who does your bounties. You got your tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Start with the low. I've said that in every other video. There's also Steel Path, which brings them right up. The other open worlds just have the normal mode. And then there's like one steel path mission. I think you actually have to load into steel path to do it. These obviously are going to be a lot more difficult, so I would just stick with this. And then of course you get all your, it shows all the rewards. Now, one thing really to keep in mind about the Zariman and any other system going forward like this, where there's like a planetary mission node set and then there's bounties attached to it, they're going to be a lot more resource heavy. What I mean by that is there are resources that you can pick up that can help boost your standing because there's no fishing and mining, which in my opinion, it goes a little faster because they're not like 100, they're like 2,000, 3,000, 1,000, 500, and you can get them pretty quick. Now, the other vendor to keep in mind is Cavallero. So he's got your gear and the wares and everything that you can pick up, from arcanes to all of these new Incarnate weapons, which I'd highly recommend getting. They're great. There's 2 ephemera, and then there's some arcanes to get. Sorry, had a bit of a brain fart. I still have to get this one. But he also, if you have any of these done, you'll have to bring them here to, once you make them, to get him to basically turn them into their incarnate form and evolve them. And then I still need to get the materials for these, but I have quite a few at the moment. And then if you want to buy them with platinum and not have to go do steel path, there's an activity that you have to do for this, but that's for a different video. And then this last person, there's another vendor on here. I'm not going to go over the vendor, but I am going to go over this vendor. So these void plumes, like this, the first one is 500, and then it goes up to 1,000, and then 2,000, 2,500, and then 5,000. So those are going to help you. You can also trade for them with resources. So I could get all of these with the different resources I have.
If you have specimens, I'm deeply in.
And they don't cost standing to buy, which is actually kind of a nice thing. It does sometimes cost one of the other void plumes to do it, but and then if you do anything on Lua, aka the moon, you can also buy stuff here. You can get Varuna, and then some of the bounty drops. I believe I saw one. Nope, wrong person. Gyre, which is actually great, and I believe you just buy the blueprint. Oh no, you have to unlock the blueprint. Yep. So like, and also you get ×4, ×1, ×2. So not only do you get some standing completion, but you actually, really, the idea is that you get these and then use those to give yourself standing. And I'm at rank 5 and I get 132,000 total standing, which means those arcanes, everything you have to buy, that's kind of when to do it. I wouldn't try to do them while you're still upgrading. But that is the Zariman. You know, you select your bounty, a little orb where I'm standing will show up and it teleports you to the elevator, or you can run and then run down that corridor over there that takes you down. So you don't go into an open world. You have to have a bounty added, or if you go into the elevator, it'll ask you to navigate and pick one of the missions from the star chart. So better to just do the bounty. If you guys have any other questions about this particular space, whether it's Void Angels, I'm not going over those intently as much. Those are like a separate internal mechanic. They're not, I think there's one mission and it tells you what to do, but that's kind of inside bounties. I'm not going to go over that at the moment, but other than that, yeah. So Zariman, this is the first time they introduced a system where there wasn't a whole plane to roam around. You're kind of locked in corridors like a regular mission on the star chart, but you're completing a bounty objective. You're not completing like 5 like you would on Fortuna. So, and as my favorite reminder, always start with the lower bounty tiers. If you don't try to jump into the higher ones, even if you feel like you're strong, just because there's a lot going on the screen, there's a lot happening. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.